Welcome to the Scouting Expedition Podcast, courtesy of the Cascade Pacific Council of Scouting America. This is more than just a podcast, it's an adventure cast. Here we'll share stories and insights about the lifelong adventure, real-world grit, and personal growth only found through scouting here in the Cascade Pacific Council. We'll have guests here indoors, but also head outdoors to meet those that make the Scouting Expedition come to life for thousands of local youth here in Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington. Each episode will start with the latest news, reminders, and important deadlines for our families, scouts, leaders, and volunteers, so you can just take a quick listen or watch in a way that's convenient for you. Then we'll dive into the topic of the day. So let's get started.
Hello, Scouters, and friends, and thanks so much for joining us on today's edition of the Scouting Expedition Podcast. My name is Chris Bartell, Director of Marketing and Innovation here at the Cascade Pacific Council of Scouting America, and today we are going to be talking about one of our strategic plan themes. Today's theme is safeguarding, and so if you haven't seen these parts of these episodes before or seen the introduction to the strategic plan from our key three, you're going to want to go back and watch that. I highly recommend you watch that first, and then come back into any of these strategic plan theme podcast episodes if you like. Whatever you're interested in, or if you're interested in all of them, feel free to dive into that. These are more conversations with the team that is headed up each one of the themes, so you can check that out at your leisure. And so today we have our team for safeguarding, the safeguarding theme. We have Emily Whittle-Perkins here. She is our Chief Safeguarding Officer here in the Cascade Pacific Council of Scouting America, and is the only one on the whole planet.
Right, no pressure, right?
Right, no pressure. The only one of any of the more than 250 councils out there. And also we have Becky Mehringer. She is on our board and has been heading up this theme as our board representative too. So say hi.
Hello.
Hey,
We're
nice,
happy to be here.
Very nice. We can all wave at the camera. Hi, camera. And awesome. Well, first, I'd love to hear your sort of scouting experience, how you got here, and what your scouting story is, because that will be fun for, I think, people to hear about, so they can go, they can relate. So anyway, why don't we start with you, Becky?
Okay.
And so tell us, how did you get involved with scouting?
So originally my dad was part of scouting here at Cascade Pacific Council, but then when I became a mother of a young man who wanted to be in scouting, that's where I was. We were in DC at that time, retired out here to Oregon in 2005 and stayed with scouting. And then when he left the troop, I stayed on, still found a great little niche in life, and then started with a crew of kids who were experiencing developmentally disabled or disabilities, and so got to stay with them. And then I ended up at Woodbatch, which is a great leadership program through Scouts, and spent quite a few years there. Ended up doing dishes, which I got really, really good at dishes, and then all of a sudden I'm on the board. And I don't know how that occurs, but I guess it's a great,
I think that's par for the course. I think
Yeah,
all of
I
us
think
have started
so.
in dishes, at some point, and
Yep.
then went into whatever it was next. But
and here I am now with safeguarding.
yeah, very nice, awesome. Okay, and Emily, what about you? What's your scouting experience? I've heard it before, but I want everybody else to hear too.
All right, my scouting experience is limited. I just started scouting back in May, so I've been a part of Scouting America for 8 months now, and I love it. However, I wasn't like a brand new baby when I first came into Scouts, although it's new to me. I have brothers that participated in scouting. Both of them are Eagle Scouts, and then I am married to an Eagle Scout. And so I've been scouting adjacent my entire life and have seen how the program has transformed youth, and I am excited to be a part of that firsthand.
Well, we're excited to have you here, and thank you both for being a part of this process. It's been quite a process, a long time coming, and this has been a really important issue for really all of Scouting America to talk about, safety for youth and adults. So tell us a bit more about, and what we'll do, gang, just so you all know, is each one of these themes, we will have a PowerPoint slide deck that we will share with you as well, and so you can sort of see the details as we talk about it. But first of all, let's just give us a little overview as to what this was all about and your purpose for doing it.
The strategic theme is
Yes,
what you're referring to.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so we were told to do the strategic theme.
Voluntold.
Exactly. And so it is basically a creation of where we are going. And so we have outlined and developed our mission, our vision, and our objectives through projects. And so Becky and I have been working together to outline these things and develop them into our strategic plan so that we have a path of where we're going and where we're moving forward in the Scouting America movement, specifically within the Cascade Pacific Council.
Awesome. That's great. And there's a lot of fun points and projects we'll talk about. Becky, you brought bubble wrap.
Well, so one of the things is whether you're a staff member or a parent or just an observer to scouting, one of our biggest goals here and nationally is safety of our youth, safety of our volunteers, safety of our staff. And so this is my great little exercise in how do we keep our kids and our staff and our volunteers safe? Well, you could just wrap them in bubble wrap, okay? And we joke, nowadays safety might mean bubble wrap, a water bottle, and a cell phone, okay?
Right.
But gone are the days you just sent somebody out and said, hey, see you by dark, or stay with a buddy. Safety encompasses so much now. And one of the main reasons that I think safeguarding is just huge, again, nationally or here, is it encompasses everything. And we're looking at safety of properties, we're looking at physical safety, we're looking at mental health safety. And so it's a whole new realm. And so that's why we're looking at these strategic goals and objectives, it's all new. And every day we learn something new about what's affecting our youth and our volunteers and how we can possibly help them.
And that's what's really driving our mission. Our mission is keeping kids safe, building a culture of safety within the scouting program through clear policies and accessible reporting. And so you're right, we're not able to wrap kids in safety wrap, but hopefully through our programs and through our clear mission, we can wrap them in symbolic bubble wrap.
I like that. Well, I'm sure as everybody's heard, safeguarding is just huge across Scouting America. I do love what you said, too, about, Becky, what you said about not just the kids, but the whole spectrum. And I think that's something, we get hounded on about the kids' safety, but there's just so much when we're out there adventuring or going to camp and all those things that really, these are things for everybody to be aware of. And so I really appreciate that you covered that as well. Well, let's dive into the PowerPoint slide deck here, just so people who are visual learners can see, visualize this a little bit. And those of you who just want to listen can listen. Okay, let's go there. Here we go.
Well, so our first thing is really the safeguarding mission, as Emily talked about. And our mission is to build a culture of safety, trust, and accountability across all scouting programs. But that means it's through education, it's clear policies, and accessible reporting.
Mm-hmm.
And next, so you will all see this in all of these themes. We talk, this is sort of normal in all these. You'll see the mission, the vision, and we'll go into some of the programs and the purpose of each one of those. So your vision is?
Our vision is to promote a safety culture where all staff, volunteers, and programs uphold best practices by identifying trends, strengthening safeguards, and thereby reducing safety incidents. And so, again, this kind of talks about we are promoting that culture of safety with staff and with volunteers and even with youth and all people who work to create and build this program. And then hopefully by bolstering our programs through education and through policies and accessible reporting, we can reduce the amount of safety incidents we have. There's power in education and power in understanding. And when we understand and deeply internalize what the mission is, then the vision can be narrowed and focused, and we can be better at reporting incidents, and we can see that decrease in incidents.
Awesome. Well, let's dive in a bit more in terms of what you're trying to really accomplish throughout the whole thing. And we actually, just so folks know, we go through this for basically these plans are really for the next 2 years. They're not a 5-year plan. We're going to do a lot of check-ins and things like that as well. But so let's chat about just some of your goals and objectives here.
So one of the main things is that we want to make sure that we align our local council with national guidelines. And then we pass that down to the unit. So we all know what Guide to Safe Scouting is, but do we really? It used to be a book and we looked through there real quickly before every outing, and now it's online, which thank goodness. But I think one of Emily's major goals is to get down to local units and make sure everybody knows those rules. And if they don't know it, how to access those rules, because that's the worst thing is if we just have lack of information. So we want to make sure everybody is aligned with those. The other thing is we want to make sure everybody's updated on there. What used to be youth protection training, now youth safeguard training, make sure everybody knows how to access that online and get that training taken care of. We're also encouraging what are called safety moments. We always start our scout meetings and our crew meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance and the Scout Oath and Law, but we really want to focus on safety at every meeting. And it could be anything from the weight of your pack to the weather conditions to, I don't know. What's a good example of a safety moment that you've been talking with people about?
Something that I've been talking about lately is youth on youth abuse, and that is it's a pretty heavy safety moment, but it's an important one.
Right.
There is a wide variety of safety moments that are available and accessible, and it doesn't have to be me that gives the safety moments. It can be anyone that gives the safety moments in the meeting. It can be the youth. How empowering could that be to have the youth give a safety moment? And like Becky was saying, it can be from fire safety to anywhere from youth on youth. I'm happy to come and teach and be a resource for you, but I think it can be more impactful if it comes from within your unit. It can be more impactful if you ask a youth to say, hey, will you give a 5-minute safety moment on water safety, for example. A lot of these safety moments are available online, and it can be empowering to have our youth teach us and help us set the expectations for safety within our own unit.
Awesome. And you've been out there visiting units actively, which is awesome.
Yes.
And we'll give Emily's contact information at the end as well. So for those of you who would like to have her visit, she'd like to. Which is so great.
It's the best part of my job. I love it.
Great. It's so great. And you were going to say something?
Yeah, there's the last thing as far as the goals and objectives are the incident reporting, because that is a major, major concern with our council. And Emily will be able to speak a little bit more in detail on that. But the idea is to make sure every person in our units knows how to report an incident, to make sure it's clear, easy to do, and to be assured that council is going to follow through on that incident report, no matter what it is, no matter how light they think it is or how minuscule, whatever, or to big things, that they are comfortable reporting each and every one of those instances, and that Emily is going to take care of that council will take it seriously.
Absolutely.
And does that have to be major incidents? Like, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what are we talking about here?
It can be anywhere from behavioral incidents to physical incidents. I work and do both of those things and follow up with those kinds of incidents. If it's behavioral, I work with the unit to talk about the behavior and to target the behavior in hopes that we can get a preventative approach so that behavior doesn't happen in the future. And then if it's a physical incident, I work and provide insurance information so that if there's a need to go to the hospital, that need can be taken care of. And through the Boy Scout insurance that we all have when we register, that can be used and taken advantage of. So it can look like a lot of different things. And it just depends on the type of incident that it falls under.
And is this about getting somebody in trouble?
Absolutely not. So I'm hyper conscious of my role, and I feel like the default role that I can fall into is the principal. And so a lot of people are apprehensive about giving or submitting incident reports because they don't want to be turned into the principal. And I don't like that role, but I understand that that's kind of just a natural consequence of being the council safeguarding officer. And so what I would like to emphasize is no one is in trouble who submits an incident report. It is a learning opportunity and a coaching opportunity, and no one and their membership will not be held hostage because they turned in a concern. Rather, it'll be a learning and growing opportunity for everyone.
We laugh sometimes because we get to see these reports. Emily deals with them, but we get to see them. We want to make sure everything is, that the board is aware of everything, what's going on, that we're very transparent. But one of them we had the other day, they were getting ready for a scout outing they were playing on a playground at a school, and a youth tripped on something and got a bloody nose. We got that incident report. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not going to national. That's not even going to the council level. It's going to go to, okay, did you put a Band-Aid on them? Were they okay? Did you check them out? But even that kind of stuff we want to know about.
Yeah.
And most are handled just at the local level with a little bit of counseling or nothing. Mm-hmm. And then if it's a bigger issue, then we really want to know about that too, because we're looking for trends. We're looking for how can we prevent this in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, is the trends. It's not like you said, not getting anybody in trouble, but it's so you can see, okay, where are there some issues with tons of kids tripping and falling at one camp or another, or whatever it is, or in scout units, are we making sure we have first aid kits nearby available, all that kind of stuff, which is really great.
And that's where that education piece comes in. It comes in with those trends. So if we're noticing that in a specific district, there is a huge uptick of youth who don't follow the buddy system, then what a great opportunity for me to come in and to teach about the buddy program. With physical incidents, it can be similar. So if we're noticing in this particular area of this camp that there's a lot of trips and falls, then maybe there's something we have to do in this particular area to mitigate the situation and to make sure that falls don't happen. So again, it's about improving our program and coaching so that we can evolve. Essentially.
Super good point. Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into this accountability and measurement piece, and everybody who's watching can actually see this as well. So tell us a bit more about some of these points that you guys have really been thinking a lot about and put into the plan.
So what Becky and I are working on is we are reviewing current reporting practices. What I'm seeing is that our current reporting practices are fairly non-existent. And so that's why we're here right now, is to emphasize the importance of reporting. We need, and really any opportunity that I have to visit with units, I emphasize the importance of reporting so that I can learn, we can grow and evolve as a council, and we can become better. Which then leads to making sure all units are aware of how incidents are reported. Maybe I speculate that the reason we don't have a huge influx of incident reporting is because people don't know how to report. And so we've developed a flow chart on reporting guidelines and how incidents are resolved. That's something that we have as a part of our goals and objectives, and it is something that we've accomplished. And we have a copy of those flow charts. I believe we have them online, or they will be online.
Yes, the safeguarding page. So
yes.
At cpcscouting.org/safeguarding is where you can find all of that.
That's right. Yeah. So those flow charts are available, and they will walk you through the process of how to report and how incidents are resolved. So I think a common myth that we see is that once an incident is submitted, it kind of evaporates into the ether. That's a common concern that I have. And I'm here to debunk that myth and to tell you that I look at every single incident that comes my way. With incidents comes the nature of confidentiality. And so I may not be able to say exactly what happens to resolve the incident, but I can reassure everyone and tell them that, hey, I've got this. This is what it could look like. And then I ask that their trust be placed in me as I work to resolve that said incident or that reported incident. So just know when you submit an incident, that incident is taken care of, and the council is, meaning me, and working hard to resolve that in the most confidential way possible.
Awesome.
Another thing we have is we are our goal is to make sure all incidents are resolved in a timely manner. That's important to us. I have heard that in past experiences, some incidents take time to resolve. Sometimes it's just a matter of working with people, and people, it's hard to get through to people sometimes, especially in a program that's run by volunteers. It can be difficult, but one of my goals is to get it done as quickly as possible. And again, that confidentiality comes through with another one of our goals, which is to create that confidential spreadsheet of all the incidents so that we can collect data and then present it to the board. Then we are going to analyze that data and evaluate trends and compare to national statistics. That's a goal that we have. We have been able to analyze data for the past couple months, and we are bringing that to the upcoming board meeting. And we keep it general enough so that we can maintain confidentiality. And we're able to bring that data and to say, hey, here are the things that we see as trends, and here are the things that we're going to do as a measure to focus on the data that we see to hopefully decrease those trends. And then lastly, like we were saying, we're going to share that data with the board members on a monthly basis in addition to a year review so that we can compare trends and to see how effective the program that we've implemented is. So those are our goals and objectives. It's a lot, and we are excited and motivated by these goals and see a clear path forward.
On that confidentiality note, it is interesting. I find it interesting as someone on the senior leadership team. Really, everyone's booted out of those board meetings except when it comes to the safeguarding report, except for really it's you board members and you, and Emily, that's it, really.
And even then, we do not mention any names. We don't mention any troop or crew. We only mention the incident. So the idea is that we're learning from these incidences, not talking about individuals. It's strictly growth of the council.
Right. So the only people who know names and troop numbers is myself and then Gary Carroll, the CEO, the Scout exec. And that's just for collaboration purposes. Between the two of us, we keep a tight lip just because it's what we have to do. It's for legal purposes.
Yes. Well, it's really good to know. I mean, I didn't know that either. I didn't know. I always wonder, what do they talk about in there after we get booted out? And so that's super great to know that even the board members are not seeing any confidential information. Mm-hmm. It's that trend piece, which is so key. That's going to be great for you guys to see what's going on and to be able to help us, figure out, where do we have problems. It's
right.
Really great. Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's dive into some of the projects here, because that will be really, I think some of these are really, they're so important, but also there's some really fun things you guys are working on too.
So one of the coolest things right now, there is a national youth safeguarding newsletter, but Emily, and I'm going to let you talk about this, has developed her own. I mean, she is key to bringing Cascade Pacific Council into the spotlight nationally.
So I have created a quarterly newsletter that goes out. Our first newsletter came out in September. Our most recent one came out in January. And so our next one should come out in April if my math is mathing. And they are just important information that you should have, and that could be useful in your leadership with Scouts. So the first newsletter was all about what to do if you have a youth in crisis, specifically a youth who has suicidal ideation. And that will kind of walk you through the process, or what should be the process of how to handle that emergency situation. And then our most recent one that we published in January was all about incident reporting. And so it had the incident report flow chart that we talked about just a minute ago, and how to fill out a flow chart and who to submit it to, and the process of that flow chart essentially. And then I also have some myths debunked. So we talked about submitting submitting an incident report into the ether. I'm able to kind of take on some of those common myths that I've heard and debunk them all. I really enjoy doing it. It's really good. And I enjoy having us all get on the same page. It is that education and that prevention piece so that we can all understand how to best support our youth in the same way.
It's great too, and we have it available at the safeguarding page as well. So cpcscouting.org/safeguarding.
That's right.
That's awesome. Okay, what's next on some of these projects you're working on here?
So what we're most excited about is something, because again, safety encompasses everything, and there are growing trends we already know about just based upon what we're experiencing in our local units. And a lot of them are like cyberbullying, sexting, drug abuse, mental health challenges. And so what we're trying to do is put together what we are calling a safeguarding symposium in May of 2027, a year and some odd months. Mm-hmm. And we are so excited about it because what we're doing is we are bringing in local experts in the fields, and not just one field. It is all of those fields. We've already talked to people from the district attorney's office, from the local sheriff's department, from the local school districts, city councils. It's a community event. This is not just an education of scouters, even though that information will be available. This is a collaborative project between all community members, Boys and Girls Club, Albertina Kerr, YMCA. What we're going to do is try to all come into about 150 of us is our goal right now. We're in one room with guest speakers talking about the trends. How do we make our youth safe, or make the most safe environment for youth? And then if later on, 5 years from now, we need to have a symposium on just one subject, great. But right now, we're looking at community partners. We're looking at how can we help each other in basically a crisis with youth, and making sure that when they are involved in any of our activities, that they are safe. And so we're very, very excited. We're just don't even have a venue. Anybody with a nice venue space that is cheap, please contact us. Because we're looking at different places, possible grants and that kind of stuff, possible fentanyl free. Mm-hmm. Oregon is one of our sponsors. We're just reaching out there and making this a huge community event with them. All of us have the same goal. All of us want our kids and our volunteers to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
What a great opportunity. I mean, just because the number of volunteers and youth that we have in our program is huge. I mean, it's like a school district, or a giant school or university with the number of people involved. And so I love that you're bringing in just all these other groups that also have a lot of people involved, so you can really get a grasp on those trends. It's going to be really fantastic.
I think it'll be really good. I think for us as scouts, selfishly speaking, it is a great PR move, because it tells our community that we're still here, and we're serious about keeping kids safe. We want to create these connections, this network with our community like we used to have. And frankly, we've lost as time has gone by. And our goal is to establish this event and make it a pillar in our community, an annual event where we can say, hey, we're sponsoring this event. We want you to network. We want you to meet other people who are serious about keeping youth safe. In turn, you'll get professional development credits, which is important for a lot of professionals. And you'll be able to network with other people who want to keep kids safe and learn something along the way. So it'll be impactful, it'll be powerful, it'll be profound, and people will leave feeling like they're better equipped to support the youth.
Yeah, what a great opportunity, especially from a content standpoint, is for those smaller organizations who may be even starting up, or other nonprofits that are smaller and don't have access to the kind of data that we will have and just the people that we'll have. I think it'll be just what a great resource this is going to become, I think. Yeah.
I hope.
Well, what about it? So what have you seen, Becky, in terms of conversations about safeguarding just over the last few years? You've been involved at the scout level for a while, and I mean, I've noticed them. It's so interesting to me to see that even the youth they understand, about two deep leadership, and that, kids are never by themselves and things like that, or never by themselves with an individual person. There's always multiple adults around and things like that. Have you seen some similar things in terms of just how people have been talking about youth safety and things like that?
I think it's become so much a core of our conversations at every level, whether you're at a committee meeting with the adults, the parent meeting with the parents, but even the kids are very, very aware. of our rules and why we have the rules and the guidelines. But then again, I think they're just there to have fun. And so sometimes it's up to us as adults to make sure we are the ones responsible to know what the rules are and everything. But I think about your question, and I don't see the focus of the day-to-day scouting being on safety, and yet it's always in everybody's mind, and especially new parents of scouting. They want to make sure that their little 6 and 7-year-old is in a safe environment, and we just need to let them know that we do everything possible, and we work with all these community partners to make sure the kids are safe, and that is our primary goal in scouting, is a good experience and yet safe.
Yeah, well, we do have lots of great adventures out there, and it's probably a good idea to be as safe as possible.
Right.
so that's great. Well, let's just talk about let's just summarize this for everybody, so everybody can sort of understand it in just one little piece here. So you guys have a really great just summary here of what this whole thing is all about.
So in our summary, for those who can't see the PowerPoint slide deck, it says, by prioritizing safeguarding in all activities, fostering education, promoting accountability and reporting, and encouraging collaboration across teams, we, the Scouts, the whole we, can better understand risks, prevent harm, and actively work to eliminate safety concerns. So really, at the very core of this summary statement is all about prevention and education. If I could narrow it down to those two words, it would be, again, that prevention and education. That is the most important part in keeping everyone safe and helping us into making Scouts be that safe environment and feel like it is a safe place for young people to grow and learn and become.
Yeah, what a great just a great opportunity to share with people, like you were saying, Becky, just talking to people about, look, we are trying to make this place a really fun environment, but also safe, because we do a lot of fun adventures in the outdoors and things like that, or indoors, and all over the place. And so it's such an important message, especially for new parents who are just coming in. They don't have a clue. They see these kids going off to a horse camp, and they're kind of freaked out, which is totally understandable. But what do you hope that people, Becky, what do you hope that people will really get out of this sort of today's discussion, but also what are you hoping for the future in terms of safeguarding?
So it's not even just a future of safeguarding, it's a future of Scouts. We need to go back to a society where Scouts is just automatic. Do you remember in the old days that you'd wear your uniform to school and you were so proud to be in that uniform and part of Scouting, and now it's hard to even recruit at schools sometimes. I just want us to go back to a situation where every young person has that opportunity to be a Scout, because whether it's leadership, whether it's outdoor skills, whether it's exercise, you're not in your basement watching video games or playing. But yet we have merit badges now, I understand, on video gaming and everything. We've changed with the times, but I see the future of going back to the past and back to the basics of Scouting, and it's in every school, in every young person's life.
Back to the past, but safety being the priority. I think there are good things about the past that we glorify, which is a good thing. Like, we should glorify our past, but this time we're doing it right.
Yes, I love that. I've had discussions with many an alumnus, and all the way from many decades ago who were in Scouting, or when I was in Scouting, and did a 100-mile hike with my Scoutmaster, and I think it was 6 of us young Scouts and 1 adult, and it was. We were in the middle of nowhere for about 50 miles of that, where it was like, boy, if you sprain your ankle, we're toast, gang, And now I think about, oh my gosh, and it's just crazy that we only had 1 adult back then, and it was awesome. But we didn't necessarily make the best choices back in the day. But so it's really great to have a framework, but also knowing that this is about having fun too. It's
right.
not. I think a lot of people also think like, oh, we're taking the fun out of Scouting with the guide to safe Scouting, no. And it seems like we can still have a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah,
right.
You can be safe and have fun. Both things can be true.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so how can people reach out? Who should they reach out to just with questions?
So You can always reach out to me. My email address is Emily, Whittle-Perkins, WHITTLEPERKINS, one word, at scouting.org. I'm also going to put in a shameless plug for 2 committees that we have going on.
Please, yeah.
So the first committee is a planning committee for our symposium. So if you were pumped about hearing about the safeguarding symposium we have coming up, please contact me and we can get you involved in that planning process.
Or if you're an expert in that field,
Yes.
please, we need you.
We need you. Many hands make light work. I am such a believer of that. And so we could use your help. Please contact me. And if you are also interested in this overall strategic plan and executing this strategic plan with fidelity, contact me. We can use your help in our Safeguarding Youth Committee, and that is just navigating the strategic plan, making sure it happens with fidelity, and coming up with ideas for projects and moving forward, creating a boots on the ground experience, making sure that people who are our unit leadership can have a voice for keeping their unit and ultimately our council safe. So anyone and everyone is welcome to one or both of those committees. I would happily accept anyone who is open to joining.
Yeah, and they're both new committees. This is a whole new, program that we're doing. And so we've only had a couple meetings for both of those committees. So everybody is welcome. And it's something that you could be at the groundbreaking of this.
A lot of people ask what's the time commitment, and I am truly, I know the ongoing
1 hour
joke.
a week.
Exactly.
It's 1 hour a week.
I'm very aware of that. So with the Safeguarding Youth Committee, so the one that's driving the strategic plan, we meet about an hour every other month. And then with the symposium, that is an hour a month. So a little bit more of a time commitment for, I would say, the symposium, because that's a bigger, more concrete project, and it is a planning committee. But I like to be mindful of people's time. So when I say it is an hour a month or an hour every other month, I hold fast to that.
Awesome. Yeah, the great opportunities, and looking for people who are in the biz, so to speak, would be awesome to have. That aren't they? Do they have to be scouts?
No,
Not at all.
No, because this is a community collaboration. So
love that. That's really what a great opportunity to reach out to people and bring people in to see scouting and what we're all about. And this is going to be really, really fun. It's going to be exciting. So, thanks guys for joining us today. And
thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. It's this has really been just really, really insightful, and I think people will get a lot out of it. So thanks so much for being here.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure. Well, hey, gang, if you want to hear more about this, of course, reach out to Emily and get on the team, so to speak. And also just make sure if you're interested in the other themes as well, feel free to jump into those too as we launch them, or if you're watching this later, they're all available. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us today on the Scouting Expedition Podcast, and we will see you next time. Okay, everybody say wave goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. It's funny because we all look up there because there's a TV, so we go. Bye.